Bill has always had a love for nature and the outdoors.
Growing up, we were always hiking, camping, hunting, boating, you name it. He was always particularly drawn to the red rocks, and that is typically where you find juniper.
I really enjoy going out in nature and looking for those twisted limbs. It's kind of like looking for buried treasure, because if it speaks to me, that means there's something in there hiding that I've got to discover. I call it my aha moment. When I'm working on it, it gets about 3/4 of the way down and I go, aha, I got you. And that's very rewarding.
All of his patrons that see all of his work, it seems to trigger some kind of emotion within them when they see one of his pieces. And that's exactly what he's trying to get, is to put emotion and motion into his sculptures.
My dad, being deeply involved in his juniper sculptures at the time of his diagnosis, was an enormous blessing, because it allowed him to really disappear into the art, and so he was able in some way to sort of disassociate with Parkinson's. As the Parkinson's progressed, it eventually took the strength and dexterity from my dad's hands, so he was unable to carve. And during that about 1.5 years when he wasn't able to carve, he became depressed and really withdrawn, and it was painful to watch.
It was a very sad time. That was about 1.5 years ago. So I'd been carving for 10 years, and then all of a sudden I can't carve anymore because my hands wouldn't work properly.
My dad's tremors eventually became so bad that it was difficult for him to hold a spoon or a fork and lift food into his mouth.
I was very uncomfortable even being out in public.
One day at the Arizona Fine Art Expo, this nice young man came into the booth and loved Bill's art.
He said he noticed his tremors, and he asked him how long it had been since he'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and Dad explained to him that he was actually actively trying to get an appointment and be assessed. The gentleman ended up being a neurologist at Barrow, and it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship and the beginning of my dad's care at Barrow.
We went in and we met Dr. Schill. We started talking about a DBS surgery, which is deep brain stimulation. This surgery that might get rid of the rigidity, the gait issues, and the tremors.
The first time I was sitting down, and when Dr. Schill turned on the machine, nothing really happened. I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden, when both my hands stopped shaking, I felt like 150 pounds was off of my shoulders. I came back to life. That gave me my life back. I could go forward with a new attitude and a healthy body. I can do a whole bunch of things that I couldn't do before. When I got out of the hospital, I could smell and I could taste, and I haven't been able to do that in 7 years. I was able to reduce my medications better than in half. I'm able to carve again, which is really huge. I can smile. I couldn't do that before. I walked around with a droopy face.
Parkinson's was pulling my dad away from his art, but it was really the art that was the divine intervention and brought him to Barrow.
Barrow and Muhammad Ali are spectacular facilities, and you can just see how happy the people are to be there and to be cared for by those wonderful doctors and those wonderful therapists.
They're the best. They gave me a life.